I'm here to tell you, profiles are seriously going to change how you edit. So when I first saw profiles in Lightroom, I'll be honest, I thought, oh, it's just a base preset. But if you're like me, someone who really cares about an accurate, efficient editing, you'll realize profiles are much more than that. That's because Lightroom defaults to Adobe Color, which isn't what your camera actually captured. And that's where profiles come in. Now, if you go on the right in Lightroom, you'll see the profile browser. You'll see a bunch of categories in there, and they're cool and all, but today I want you to ignore all those. Today we're going to focus on the camera matching profiles, and it's a goldmine. These profiles are exactly what you think. They're designed for your exact camera and are calibrated to give you the exact colors that you see when you take the photos in camera. So if I photograph this image on my R5, hovering over camera standard, it'll show you a result more like what you see on the back of the camera. And it's kind of like Lightroom saying, hey, I see that this photos was captured on R5. Here's a profile that more accurately depicts what the camera saw. So let's just start out going through a few of these. Here's camera standard. This is my personal go-to, what I use 99% of the time. And it gives me a clean contrast and accurate tones that are super reliable across any kind of photo you take. Now going over to landscape, you'll see that not much really changes. However, the saturation is just pushed up just a tiny bit. And that's more just to give your photos a little bit more of a pop. So you can go through and see portrait and neutral, and they're all great depending on what you're editing. Personally, I just stick to camera standard. Sometimes I'll go to landscape, but even for landscape photos, camera standard is perfect. So what the point of this is, instead of going through 5 to 10 minutes, adjusting and making sure the colors are just right to how you remember it, this will do about 90% of the work for you. And then you can just go through there in like one click. So to wrap it all up, profiles aren't exactly presets. Sure, there are some artistic profiles that kind of start to look like presets a little bit, but if you use them the way that they were actually intended, and for example, but for real, start using profiles and you'll thank me later. I'll see you guys in the next one.